Hello, everyone. This is the Chubby Funster. Welcome to the first part of what will be a deep analysis of Curse of Strahd, an adventure for 5th edition D&D published by Wizards of the Coast. This is a 250-page book, so buckle up for a long ride with multiple parts. There will be near total spoilers in this video series, so make your own decisions in life. It's designed to take first level characters all the way up to level 10. It recommends milestone leveling over individual awards with levels granted for finding artifacts, defeating villains, and accomplishing story goals. I prefer to demonstrate why this is a poor choice, so we will revisit that throughout, but I'm pointing it out here to make it clear how they, I think, intended the module to be played. This is the Valley of Barovia. There are two possible arrival points along the Old Svalich Road at either end, although the text favors the eastern path. And there are two villages as well, Barovia and Valaki. These are the only possible safe havens on the map, and they're really not that safe in the traditional D&D sense. There are 10 locations on the map that have a relatively normal encounter structure that's used to reveal information, and there are 6 more that go just beyond that, featuring dungeons with a handful of rooms or a cluster of outdoor locations. And there are 5 locations on the map that I would consider to be actual dungeons, along with rooms and content. There's also an optional dungeon in the village of Barovia. The grandest of these is, of course, Castle Ravenloft, and once they're lured there, the PCs cannot leave the valley. They encounter the infamous mists of Ravenloft that block passage. In almost any other circumstance, I would object to this as a violation of player agency, but this is a remake of a classic horror module, and I'm willing to forgive it here. It should also be noted that travel within the valley is still quite risky. There are 2 random encounter tables, both for daytime and nighttime encounters. You're supposed to check these with a d20 every 30 minutes of travel, but not to exceed 2 encounters every 12 hours. The defining characteristic of Curse of Strahd is slow, steady world building through encounters and NPCs. It's actually quite impressive and uncharacteristic of a WotC product. A lot of my commentary in later videos will be focused on that, but I want to point out that with milestone leveling, the players are incentivized to find and resolve major plot points. They have no incentive to explore the wonderful map, to come up with solutions, which will be hard with all the limitations in place. You can't even leave to get equipment. But instead, they're going to be focused all of their attention on these points that I've marked. It's basically a path. Now you can move up and down the path, but you're on a path. Because remember, this is taking place within the context of a game. This is a game, not a book. Spatial relationships and time are important. The map is approximately 80 hexes wide and 44 hexes tall, or 20 miles by 12 miles. That's a good size for an adventure. And standard 5e movement is 3 miles per hour, or 12 hexes, on a road, half that in difficult terrain, which I would apply to this entire map. Assuming you start in the village of Barovia and spend an hour on foot, even off-road you can cover this distance. You can get this far in 4 hours and this far in 8 hours. That's basically the entire map. Now why is that relevant? Because it means the GM has to prepare for every session with the assumption that the players could potentially go anywhere on this map unless they were already seriously engaged in a particular location at the end of the last session. And I had to put together all of this on my own. There are no sections of the book that address travel considerations. The word hex only appears once in the entire book, and it's in relation to cursing someone, not travel. The book does have 91 instances of the word horse, but you can't buy one. There's only 2 places in the entire valley that sell equipment, one in each of the 2 villages, and they're both limited to anything under 25 gold pieces in the player handbook. Even a pony costs 30 GP, so the only way to get a horse will be to steal it. The 25 GP limit means that heavy crossbows, longbows, great swords, and great axes are also out. You can't apply silver to your weapon either. Silvering costs 100 GP by itself, and there are lycanthropes out there, so good luck. On the bright side, the players really can't go in any direction because of all the dangers. The book provides a helpful chart of location appropriateness by level. I've also marked them with numbers on the map here. So you can see the adventure is likely to take place in phases. First around Barovia, then fighting their way to Valaki, then exploring Kresik. That path follows the old Svalich road. From there, they can push south until they're strong enough to take on Strahd in Castle Ravenloft. Now, it's not a mistake to have Strahd so close to Barovia. He should loom over the entire adventure as a terrifying force. So the GM won't really have to fully prepare these locations from the very beginning, but they do need to be aware of them, and they need to be distributing rumors about them frequently. All of these things define and limit play. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not. There's a level 1 to 3 dungeon in the village of Barovia. It's basically a haunted house. I'll cover it later, but it takes up 10 pages and the characters can't even leave the village until they complete it. The mists of Ravenloft come up and stop them. Now imagine if you use those pages instead to create dozens of encounters all over the map with minor challenges that the PCs could use to get to level 3 with actual exploration, not following the narrative plot line. The hyper-focus on narrative goals leaves much of the map unexplored and unused. Another part of the setup is randomly determining 5 factors using the Tarokka deck that is featured in the game. It's modeled on the tarot cards. The location of Strahd inside of Castle Ravenloft, the placement of 3 treasures that will help fight against him, and the identity of a powerful ally are determined by these cards. And there's a common deck of 40 cards, 4 suits of 10 cards each, and a high deck of 14 cards. These decks are kept separated. To perform a reading, they're drawn in this pattern, with the 1, 2, and 3 positions drawn from the common deck, and 4 and 5 drawn from the high deck. There are 2 NPCs on the map who can also perform a reading. Whatever cards are drawn replace the fortune that the GM did before play. I thought this was really cool at first, but then
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
this is the only use of these fantastic cards and the card reading system in the entire book. The fortunes of the entire party are read as a group, not individually, and it doesn't say how many times you can get a reading performed, and it has no associated cost. So theoretically, this could be used to magically move stuff around the map until the players like the results. But these are functionally 4 different D10 tables with a D14 table. That could be changed around to fit all kinds of purposes within this module. You could create 4 different random encounter tables, one for each of the suits in the common deck. And then at night, you have to draw from the high deck instead, with increased danger on all of these results, creating a rich tapestry of different possibilities, all drawn from this really cool deck right in front of the players at the table. Because yes, this is a real thing that came in the box. But yeah, unfortunately, this is the only use of these fantastic cards. What a waste!
这是真难搞啊。
There are a lot of people out there that have written great alternative uses up for this deck. There are videos, there's blogs and stuff. I really recommend you look that up. And there's a lot of stuff in this book. The writing is excellent, the descriptions are excellent, but my friends tell me that it is a beast to run for all the reasons I've laid out here. And as I get further in with subsequent videos, my focus is going to be on finding all the ways that it can be better managed, better delivered by the GM, improved where it can, and some things that you might just want to cut to save time and effort. So that's an overview of what this module is all about. In part 2, we're going to dive into the first taste of Barovia as first level PCs. So stay tuned. Chubby Funster out.